All right. I am so super excited to have Sarah here to talk about driving data culture and adoption through virtual Tableau Days. Sarah is a Tableau rock star in the world of banking, close to my heart, trying to change the data culture of a traditional industry one dashboard at a time. So I want to give a warm welcome to Sarah.
Thanks, Emily. I'm really excited to be here. And that was an awesome presentation from Johanna. It was awesome. I mean, my son has dyslexia, so there's lots of things. I was like writing lots of notes down to take some things back to his school next year. So really cool stuff. And I'm excited to be here today. Let me just share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so I really want to talk about driving data adoption through the virtual Tableau days. So obviously everyone knows this year's been a little bit different in terms of what we have been able to do, and it wasn't probably what we'd planned. So I'm going to talk you through, and I hope you get some tips on how you can kind of drive adoption in your organization. So my name is Sarah, and thanks for that great introduction, Emily. I am based in Singapore, although I think from my background, I'm pretending to be in Germany at a Christmas fair. I am active on Twitter, so do give me a follow. And I am a Singapore Tableau user group leader and I think first year ambassador for the Tableau user groups. And prior to that, I was social ambassador for 2 years. So really exciting to be part of the Tableau community. So there are kind of two types of Tableau days that I see. One of them is a real creator kind of based one where we get all of our Tableau creators together and we really talk about like best practice, whether it's on the server or tuning and optimizing our reports. And we kind of like maybe show like user cases of what, you know, we're really proud of and things like that. And then there's a secondary one, which is more around the business and getting the business involved in what Tableau can do for them and what we've got out there and really showcasing that side. So this presentation is less angled towards the Tableau days for the more creator technical side, but more so on the business side. So over the course of this year, I have hosted or helped co-host over 30 business virtual Tableau days in our organization here at City in Singapore. So we're in 17 markets globally in APAC and EMEA and in multiple verticals. So cards, retail, digital, campaigns, those kind of things. So we decided to go very personal and very specific. So we wanted to get, you know, very localized. So we would present, yesterday we did a presentation for digital for Vietnam, for example. So we wanted to really showcase at a very, very, you know, a very local way and have the business engaged in what they can get out of the dashboards, although they're regional dashboards, but right down at their kind of granular level. So for us, it was really important to partner and partnering with our data and analytics team locally. So we would like go to, say, in this example, so Vietnam Digital, we would go to our data and analytics team in Vietnam and we would get them to help us. So it would be a joint co-hosting event. Now it's really important to work out who's going to do what. So we had a lot of different roles. So we have kind of the person who would support us in country, we would have someone that would support in the region, and then we would have people that would actually present, because we wanted to deep dive into these in the Tableau days and have like the presentations and presenting dashboards. And we would really try and get people, like we had this kind of list of hierarchy of who wanted to who we wanted to present. And our number one was always someone in business. So not so much in the data and analytics space, but someone that was using these dashboards on a regular basis. And that's where we found we got the most interaction and engagement, because they were telling the story of how they were presenting it. So we'd kind of try and get someone, and we'd actually use our own Tableau dashboard that would tell us who was a regular user of that dashboard, and we overlay that the Postgres, the Tableau Postgres, with our HR data. So we would know people that were in business and where they sat in the business and what country they were in. So we would kind of hone in on them, and we'd be like, hey, we're hosting this event. Are you guys interested? And, we see you're a big user of this particular dashboard. And we found that we got like the most engagement if we got someone really local to present them, and we got the most out of it as well. And then we'd have quite a big support model. So we would run sessions on, if you are presenting, here's some tips and tricks on how to present. Here's, we'd do a dashboard walkthrough of maybe there were some things that they didn't understand and that sort. So I think that's really important, particularly when you're doing so many events and you don't want to have to repeat yourself so much. So we kind of run kind of, hey, if you're going to present, here's something to go through. So the other piece is getting the right audience. And again, this is why we partnered with people in country, because we wouldn't always know which direction or the reach that, we knew who was using the reports. We didn't know who wasn't and who should be using the reports. So we really got it. So the people in business were sending the invites out, and then they could monitor the audience tracking that was attending and push it out to other people. And then we also, really importantly as well, was getting that feedback from stakeholders and getting them to, suggest people that should also be using the dashboards and to get the audience correct there. So that's really important. So the agenda that we did, we worked out that 1.5 hours was a good sweet spot to get people engaged and to have them, kind of buy into this time. Going at first, when we started this agenda, we had, I think, we were using like WebEx, which was quite a difficult tool for us to use, and, the video capacity and so forth. But pretty quickly on, we started using Zoom, which was a lot better. So we could, have a kind of more interactive session, having people with their cameras on and, having that 5-minute setting in session. And recently we were constantly adapting, but we use a tool called Slido, which I think is like Pigeonhole, and kind of that Q&A session. And we would do a word cloud and have people like, what are you hoping to get out of this? And so while people were settling in, people could join the Slido event and start kind of putting words up there, and that was a great way to engage and have people kind of, buying into it and things. Then we would do like a 15-minute intro, and that intro would be, my manager couldn't always attend, so he had like a 3-minute video that we would play that would give like an overall strategy of where we're going with our Tableau adoption. And that was really great. And then we would have our co-leads in country do a little bit of a talk, and then we would have my data supports, and they would talk about the journey, because we don't just want to talk about just that here's Tableau and that's everything we do. We want to talk about the back end journey as well, and how much effort is put into that. So that was really important for us to have that piece. And the other thing was also having what we call our vertical leads. So those are the people that run digital for us within the data and analytics space, for example, talk about the value of the dashboards that they're going to be seeing. And then I do a little bit of a talk as well, or someone in my team would talk a little bit about the benefits of Tableau. So we'd give a little bit of a talk about how we've, standardize the look and feel of things, and how this is the landing page you can come to, and we have short codes of how you can get there, and this is how you can get access to Tableau, and here's our Tableau community. And then also little things that people don't always know about, maybe if they want to subscribe to the report, and just giving them a little bit of kind of information on how to use Tableau from a viewer standpoint. then after that, we would go straight into the deep dives. And so we typically run 4 dashboards with 10 to 15 minutes per dashboard. And we would get it really local. So like I said earlier, we would try and have the business present this, which we found was really important. And they would kind of go in and they would talk about very specifically how they use the dashboard to drive their business decisions, which was great. We'd have our tool Slido open, which would do Q&As. My team and I would monitor the Q&A. So we would kind of butt in and ask questions if we thought it was relevant, or park them towards the end. And the reason we didn't always start with using a tool like Slido, but we found really early on that moving across different cultures, we would have, some cultures would, naturally just ask lots and lots of questions, which was great. Sometimes it was a little bit overwhelming, so we'd have to kind of scale it back and, that kind of thing. And then we'd get other cultures that would be very reserved and not want to ask questions. So bringing in a tool like Slido really helped us. We had another case as well where you've got like some really key stakeholders on, and they'd almost turn it into their own session, and they'd be asking like loads of questions, which is great, but it wasn't giving the voice of everybody. So we did kind of scale and adjust, and by having Slido kind of just helped us regulate a little bit more on the questioning. The other pieces is if we did have time, we do a little quiz, and we could do that within Slido as well. And just kind of a fun thing. I mean, we've used Kahoot before as well, but, just keep it quite light, asking different questions maybe about the dashboard, but mixing it up with a few fun questions as well. And then at the end, we'd like to wrap it all up with a little bit of kind of give back, and we'd take notes as well if there was a lot of feedback or people were finding that there wasn't a specific question that they couldn't get from there. We would take notes and take that as action to look at our dashboards and maybe see if we could reflect that a little bit better. And we'd also talk about what we've got coming, how to raise a potential bug or an enhancement or a new dashboard request. And, a little bit of a way to have a look about what was coming and a little sneak peek into our dev environment. So really giving back from that. The objectives of the day was obviously to get more out of Tableau, to see the live dashboards and learn how they could find those insights, and also to ask the experts. So we found that was a really good mix, and the objectives worked really well. Because, we ran 30, it's a lot of overhead and plus the hour and a half for each of those. So we really wanted to minimize the effort for us and for our co-leads and everything. So we templated everything. So we built a playbook, and in that playbook, it would have like the scheduling. So we typically ran these. We found for us, our sweet spot was, I think, 4 o'clock on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we would have those available for 3 weeks of the month. We didn't typically run them at the beginning of the month just because we knew that there was a lot of other work that was happening at that time. We would playbook who the participants were from regional, and country obviously could fill in a big kind of cross tab, and they could fill in who was going to present what dashboard. And then we had an invite, we templated that. Our slide deck was templated. They could just go in and it had little notes on where they could update different things. We had a quiz template, and then a thank you email template. So it was all kind of flowed through, and because we put this on our internal website, we could keep evolving this as we tweaked it, and found that there needed to be different pieces of information there. Like I said, for interaction, for us we use Slido and Kahoot sometimes. So we did Q&A there, we did a quiz there. We really wanted to hone in on who presented, and we tried to make people, have their cameras on. And I think some cases, and again, culturally, sometimes people didn't want their cameras on. We had a hilarious case of one of our stakeholders was like, everyone must have their camera on, and that was quite funny. And then we would start screenshotting the interaction and just showcasing that in town halls and things like that. So that became quite fun. Another thing as well is we also had screensavers when we went through Zoom, and on there we had kind of fun ones that had our like hot links down the side, and how to join the Slido and things like that. So I think that was quite fun. Again, partnering was really important. So, you know, getting buy-in from the business and tech and our co-hosts. We found it was really fun if the, you know, with some of the, with the quizzes, for example, we got kind of just local kind of gift vouchers. I think like Grab, which is our Uber, just, you know, a small token, things like that. And then obviously if we got some of the stakeholders to talk as well, that was really great. And especially when they talked about how they use Tableau, we got some really good information there. And then at the end as well, we would do surveys. So just a quick 5-minute survey, basically a bit of NPS. So, you know, would you recommend attending this event? What did you like about this? What do you think we need more of? What should be less of? And obviously we were taking down any of the questions that we thought that were relevant, that people were trying to get out of the dashboards but weren't. So we did see, yeah. So when I'm talking about like more of what works and less of what doesn't, so like we kept refining. So early on, you know, changing the way we were doing Q&A. We worked out, you know, that 1.5 hours was perfect time for people's retention, having 4 dashboards, keeping it really specific on those dashboards, but, you know, talking about what other dashboards were out there and to get people interested. We always got questions around subscriptions. So we talked about that a little bit, how people could get Tableau internally, and having our community accessible as well. So really, when you're taking the survey, you know, it's really important to adjust based on the feedback that you get. And then our benefits, we saw increased adoption, definitely. We'd see a big spike in that country, in that vertical, particularly on that day or on that week. And we typically would see that would continue as well, the increase. Great to do knowledge sharing. I think sometimes when we're building dashboards at a regional level, we're not getting the as much, you know, we kind of become quite focused on that, but to have someone else's insights from in country was great. Having that partnership, so it made them feel inclusive. And I think it was really great to see people like, oh, wow, you know, this dashboard can deliver so much. And I think that helped us evolve our culture, because we were coming from a very much tabular Excel culture. And I think every time we show people what Tableau is capable of, that is evolving our data culture. This time last year, we actually did a non-virtual Tableau Day, which seems like a lifetime ago now. We had 70 people crammed into one of our boardrooms. So I want to talk a little bit about Beyond Virtual. In that particular one, it was all interactive. We actually managed to get, like, I think 4 big screens in the boardroom, and we had people doing kind of different parts of different dashboards, and people could walk around and interact, which was great. Our quizzes were run differently. We encouraged everyone to bring their laptop, and, you know, groups of 2 or 3 could sit around, and then we would ask questions like, you know, some really detailed questions around getting particular pieces of information out of the Tableau reports. So a really different model, and I hope one day we'll be able to do something like that again. That was really fun, and I think that was great to see the energy in the room, which is tough at the moment, but I know we're all trying to do what we can with virtual. So that is me. I don't have the question slides open. I think I've finished a little bit early, or actually right on time. I feel like I spoke really quickly. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. Do follow me on Twitter, and I know the session is going to be recorded. So yeah, thanks for having me. This is my 3rd TFF, so I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was really great. I love all of those things, and especially the quizzes. Those are fun.
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to give folks an opportunity to ask questions. Oh yes, Trish is saying really good. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Oh, thanks, Trish.
Yeah, I love the structure that you brought to it. I mean, I guess you had to, but
Yeah.
it was not just like, here, let's like have a day. No, it was super structured. I love the idea of the playbook. Just
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, so important, right? Because we're all, I mean, it was just additional to our job. So without that playbook, we would just be spending too much time telling the same thing. And I'm a big believer is if you have to tell one person once or two people twice, you might as well just have a playbook and point everyone there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Always appreciate your time. We are going to take a short break and then come back in 10 minutes for Kevin Elder. Oh, wait, let's see. Hold on. There's one. Oh, actually, there is a question, Sarah, real quick. Do you have any practical tips regarding increasing data literacy?
Oh, I think for me, it's around getting, I mean, we do some workshops on improving your data literacy, and I think it's getting that buy-in and spending that time and talking about, you know, what is working and what's not. And I mean, I follow some great people on Twitter, and I think it's just it's spending time. And for me, with a team of creators as well, it's getting them to kind of take a step back and to focus on maybe not just, you know, what they are delivering, but how they are delivering it. And if if you knew nothing about that subject, is anyone going to understand what you're seeing?
I
So I
like
think
those
it's
questions for reflection and being able to then take that and
yeah,
take action on it.
yeah, yeah. And having those conversations as well, right? Like quite often, you know, we work agile in our team, so we have peer reviews. And I think it's like, you know, we're constantly trying to make sure that everyone in our team works across different parts of the organization. And so when the peer review comes in, a part of that is, do you understand this dashboard? Do you understand what it means? Do you understand this particular metric? And if not, why not? And how can we incorporate that? And also, you know, in our style guides, we make sure that there's a section on, you know, information and so forth, and trying to tell that story with our data, not just reporting all the numbers.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And y'all can shout out Sarah on Twitter if you had a really amazing takeaway, or just, you know, you generally loved her talk tonight or today. Um, show her some love on social media using the hashtag TFF2020. And don't forget to follow Sarah as well. All right.